everyone! Hello my dear subscribers and guests of the channel. This is Katya and the channel Knit for Speed. And today we are continuing the baby booties theme. In the last video I told you how to crochet booties. In this one we will knit such booties with knitting needles. The project is very easy, even a beginner can manage. They are also made very quickly, so I hope you will enjoy both the process and the result. Please give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll get started. I made this bootie for a newborn, for the smallest baby. The size of the sole here is 7 centimeters. I used this yarn, Camtex Caramel. It is 100% acrylic yarn. In 50 grams there are 150 meters and the colors are light gray, number 168, and champagne, number 031. I used 3.5 millimeters knitting needles and we'll also need scissors. We will begin to knit the bootie from the top, from the lapel, and we will move from top to bottom. Then we will knit the toe, sides and the last sole. We will need to cast on 34 stitches plus 2 4-inches. That is a total of 36 stitches. We take our yellow yarn and begin to cast on the loops. If you don't know how to cast on, please check out my video in the top right corner. Done. I like to tie this tip in a knot. We take out one knitting needle and start knitting with a garter stitch. Knit stitches on the right and wrong sides. We remove the first loop without knitting and begin to knit all 34 loops with knit stitches. We will purl the last loop to get a beautiful even edge. Here we purl the last stitch, turn over the project, again remove the first loop without knitting and start the next row of knit stitches. In total, we will need to make 18 rows of garter stitch. Each time we will remove the first stitch without knitting, purl the last loop, so we will get a neat, nice edge. Let's knit these rows by ourselves. Once again, 18 rows of garter stitch. We are done, the lapel is ready, the yellow part is ready. Now we need to make the gray part. To do this, we take the gray yarn, cut off the yellow one, and continue to knit only now changing into stockinette stitch. On the right side with the knit stitches, on the wrong purl stitches. We do not decrease the amount of loops, the same amount remains, 34 plus 2 for edges. We only change the knitting pattern. Same as before, we remove the first loop and knit the first row. We finished the first row with gray yarn, turn the project over, remove the first loop and purl till the end of the row. You can already see that the pattern is changing. If here the garter stitch was ripped, now with the gray yarn it will be a smooth stockinette stitch. It will be 16 rows of stockinette stitch. We completed 16 rows and we'll start making the booties toe part. This one. We will divide the number of loops on the knitting needle by 3. We have 36 loops altogether, which is perfectly divided by 3. In each part there will be 12, 12, 12 loops. And we will knit the toe in the middle part. We take again the yellow yarn and continue to knit 12 stitches with stockinette stitch. We start counting from the very first stitch. We again do not knit it, we just move it, but nevertheless we count it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll put a marker here just in case to better mark the border. And now we are knitting the second third, that is our toe. We will knit it with garter stitch. Knit stitches from the right and wrong sides. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We do not knit the last third, we leave it for now. We turn the project over and knit again 12 stitches until the marker. We turn the project over again. Now we can clearly see the border where our toe will be. We continue to knit stitch. Here in the toe part, we do not make edge loops. We do not remove the first loop and do not purl the last one. We knit all 12 stitches the same way. Turn around and knit the next row. And again, turn around. That's how we knit the entire toe. There are 16 rows in our toe and we will knit all of them with garter stitch. We already have 4 rows, knit 12 more. Our 16 rows are now finished. The marker can be removed now. You can also cut the gray yarn so it doesn't get in the way. We'll also tie a small knot here. And now we need to connect all 3 parts of the project. So let's knit one more row. And now we will need to cast on 8 loops from this side. I will use a crochet hook because it's more convenient for me, but if you can do it with a knitting needle, you can also use it. We insert hook into the gap between the rows. Since we have the garter stitch, it will be more convenient to do this in the gap between the ribbed rows, these ones. We insert hook here, we hook up the thread, we pull it out, and we got a loop that we put on the knitting needle. We insert hook into the next gap between the 2 ribbed rows and do the same. This is the second loop. Another 2. In total we have added 4 loops, and in the same way now we will cast on 4 more loops from the edge. Now we knit till the end of the row. We purl the last stitch, nothing has changed here. Turning project over, removing the first loop, and we purl. Here they are, these new loops. We purl them along with the old loops. We also purl the top part. Now we do the same on this side. We also cast on 8 loops from the side. We take the hook and cast on loops from the gaps. Done, our 8 loops are ready. Now we purl till the end of the row as usual. We finished our toe and now we'll start the sides of the booty. For this purpose, we casted on additional loops on the sides. These sides, you see, are also knitted with stockinette stitch. Absolutely nothing complicated. Since we have already knitted 2 rows with yellow yarn, there are still 8 left. The total height of the sides is 10 rows. We knit and pivot in rows with stockinette stitch until we have 10 rows. We finished our sides, our 10 rows, and only the sole remains. See, the width of the sole is the same as width of the toe, that is 12 stitches. We will knit it like this, gradually closing the loops of the sides. I said the sole width would be 12 stitches. We now have 52 stitches on the needle. We will need to gradually close 20 loops on one side and 20 loops on the other side. Let's knit the first 20 stitches with yellow yarn still. Remove the first loop and knit 19 more after it. Now we take a gray yarn and continue to knit with it. This is already the beginning of the sole. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we knit the 12th stitch together with the next one, like this. Turn the project over . Remove the first loop and purl till the end of the gray yarn. And we purl the last loop together with the first yellow one, like this. We tighten these tips. By the way, they can also be tied and cut so that they do not get in the way. Turn it over. Remove the first loop and knit till the end of the gray yarn. Again, we knit the last stitch together with the first yellow one. Turn the project over and repeat. Purl the last gray loop together with first yellow one, like this. As you can see, we made small decreases in the sole. In each row, we decrease one loop in each even and odd row. Our yellow loops will gradually decrease and our sole will grow, while the number of gray loops will remain unchanged. It remains in the amount of 12. Let's knit by ourselves until we will have 6 loops left on each needle on both sides. Here we have 6 loops left on each needle. Look, our booty is almost ready. Just a little bit left. Now we will close the sew along with the sides. We will knit 2 gray stitches together with 1 yellow. Take a look. We close it almost as usual. Just pick up the last 2 loops here plus 1 yellow and knit them together. On the reverse side, we will make the same maneuver, just with purling. Purl until 2 last gray loops remain. We purl these last 2 loops together with 1 yellow loop. We do this so that our sew gradually decreases. We close stitches again, 3 with 1 stitch. Fewer and fewer stitches remain. Two yellow and 4 gray loops remain. We knit 1 stitch, 3 stitches together, look, after we remove 1 loop, there are only 2 left. We purl them together with 1 yellow. Turn over and we have only 4 loops left. We no longer remove the first loop, but immediately knit 3 stitches together. Pull the yarn, our last row. We close 2 remaining loops. Look, That's all. Our project is finished. The only thing left is to sew the back edges. You can do this with a seam that is familiar to you, which is convenient for you. I will show you the one which is convenient for me. It is advisable to hide these tips. I won't show it now, but I think you know how you can hide them in the project or in the edge of the project, so now we will not talk about it. I will sew the back edge with the same gray yarn. I will leave enough of its length and cut it. If you have a special white eye needle, that's great, you can use it. Unfortunately, I don't have such a needle. I will use crochet hook. We will sew the booty edge so that the seam will be as smooth as possible. To do this, we need to find the edge loops, these elongated loops, and we insert the hook into one loop and take it out from the other. We have a connection between them, look. Between the last and before the last edge loops, we find this connection and pull the yarn out. We do the same on the other side between the two edge loops. Now, before the last loop became the last. We again find this connection and pull the yarn out from the other side, and so on. We will sew the back of the booty on one side, on the other side, on one side, on the other side, until we finish here, approximately at this level. If you have finished, then the back seam will look like this. You see, it's practically invisible. Our long-awaited booties are ready. You can already put them on your baby's feet. If you remember, at the beginning of the master class, the booty that I showed you had a small bow made of cord on the side. But while I was knitting, I was thinking, and I remembered that I have such wonderful bee buttons. And it seems to me that they will fit very well on the yellow booty. How do you think? I will now sew buttons to both booties and we'll see. Ah, see how cute they look with these buttons. These bees have given a special accent to the booties. I think I will call these booties happy bees. Our project is ready and our tutorial is over. Please press thumbs up if you liked it, if you liked the result, subscribe to my channel, and see you soon. Bye bye!